What's up, you guys? How you guys doing? I am Dave. I am Bitches. This is Bring the Ruckus Podcast, a podcast where we talk about the realest in music and the realest in basketball. I knew I unplugged that junk.
There we go.
Right when I was giving introduction, no, I tapped it. My bad.
You
I'm
good?
joined now with Eric Vincent of Top Title. So, what's up? How you doing?
Feeling good, man. I'm happy to be here. It's hot as hell outside, but it's been a good day so far. How about you?
Same. I've been just got a little gig while I'm working outside, so I've been burning up. I keep telling myself like burnt cookie and stuff. I swear I'm like 3, 4, 5 shades darker. I kind of don't like it. I'm like, dang, skin itching and stuff too. I'm like,
Oh
dang.
yeah, yeah.
But
All that start to add up when it gets hotter, but rather than the snow, we out here though. It's all good.
yeah, for real. I had a coworker saying they said you complain now, but then the snow gonna hit and you gonna complain about that too. So
Exactly.
I'm
So
like,
I
yeah,
try
that's
to just leave it alone.
good. No, but it is too hot though.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, we're here to talk about some Pistons. But before we get to Pistons, I always ask people when they come up on here, like, what type of music you listen to? What you listen to in the car right now?
Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm 35 years old now, so a lot of my music is kind of like condensing to fewer and fewer people at this point. Like
Yeah,
hip hop ain't been in the best place, over the past several years. But I mean, I love hip hop. Loved it since I was a kid. Still dabbling in R&B, old school. I feel like R&B now is like kind of dead in a little bit sense. But yeah, it's a lot of rap. I think Kendrick has shown himself to be king of the task right now, king of the class at the moment.
I feel that.
I've been a fan since like 2011 of his. I still got a little respect for J. Cole in his talent, I guess you could
Hmm.
say. My favorite rapper of all time was Kanye, but he started tripping, so I'm trying to pivot out of that, that rabbit hole for right now. But
I feel that.
yeah, I'm definitely feeling and excited for that Clips album coming out tonight, though. So
Oh,
it's
that's
a
coming
good
out
time.
tonight. Dang,
Yes, sir. I cannot wait.
dang, time is flying. I was just thinking about Kanye too, man. Just cause it's crazy. Like he had all these bars just to go for where he is now. It's kind of sad, but it is what it is. Also,
Man, can't even the old stuff don't even hit the same no more. They say at least sometimes tolerate the old stuff, even the revolutionary stuff he said back then, all the pro black stuff,
yeah,
all the everything that aged bad at this point. But I don't know, it's all bad for him. It's all good though. We do what we can do.
nah, I definitely feel that. But shoot, before we start talking about basketball, since you brought up Kendrick, you real he was Kendrick friend. So tell me, how'd you get into Kendrick and stuff?
Bruh, my friend, shout out my boy Kevin. He ran a blog site like Hot New Hip Hop, Dat Piff, like back in the day. Like as soon as the website or the
Yeah,
mixtapes came out, he put it up on his site. His site was called Too Fresh, and he was one of the first people that was posting about Kendrick. And he told me way back in like 2010 that he's gonna be looked at as the new king of hip hop.
yeah,
I slept on it for a while. I'm like, all right, man, I'll get to it when I get to it. And I finally played Section 80 like in 2011, and I just fell in love with dog. Like I listened to Drake before, I listened to Cole, like a lot of the blog era dudes that was coming up.
yeah.
But as soon as I heard Section 80 and I heard his content, his flows, his delivery, like his versatility on that album, like, to me, I was sold right away. I'm like, all right, he's one of them ones. Everything that he's done since then has just built up more and more and more. I mean, being able to go through classic albums, classic tours, won a million Grammys at this point, demolishing Drake in the fashion he did
I
last
feel that.
year, put that man's whole career in a spiral right now. And then just to add on to that now with Super Bowl performances, the tour that he just did. I got to check out the one in Detroit. Like
That's
he's
what's
one of the
up.
few rappers and artists where like you hear this often, like sometimes people we just talked about it with Kanye. Oh, I miss the old such and such. I
Yeah.
miss the old. I never say that with Kendrick when I listen to his music. Every time I hear him, I hear something new and better, and I ain't been disappointed yet. So that's on number one on the list right now for quite a few reasons.
No, I feel that. It's crazy. 'Cause I remember him coming out around that time too. Like my brother had like a mixtape with like it's like the game. He had like the Black Wall Street stuff, and it
Yeah,
was like just remember hearing this dude. I'm like, I don't think he'll be anything because they had a lot of like battle rappers and stuff back then. Like, all right, they
hmm
ain't gonna be like that. But then later on, I actually checked him out. I was like, dang, I was slipping. Like especially like I was kind of judging about his name. I'm not gonna lie. Back then people didn't use their names like that. Like
that's
Kendrick
true.
Lamar, who's this? So No,
That's
but he definitely been proving people wrong.
Yeah, I appreciate rappers like him that have gotten to his superstar status because you see a lot of guys. You saw it with Wayne, you saw it with Kanye, you definitely saw it with Drake. When they got to a level of success, they started chasing different sounds of like R&B or Lil Wayne's. Oh, I'm a rock star. I'm not even a rapper anymore. And then Drake
Yeah.
goes with the pop stuff. Kendrick is strictly hip hop, and he doesn't change that for nothing. Like he doesn't have to try to chase the pop lane or chase a different sound. He does what he wants to do, and like I just respect that he sticks to his script and like what he wants to do for his career, and it's been working for him up to this point, man. So shout out to Dot, shout out to him carrying hip hop right now.
No, I definitely feel that. But shoot, we can talk about music all
Yeah,
day, but is it,
yeah.
I had to go in there. Do you want to talk about the Pistons? How you feel about the off season? How you think it's been going so far?
Yeah, it's been a lot of turmoil that's happened thus far. I mean, obviously, Trajan has talked about, having to pivot, after the Malik Beasley investigation kind of unfolded. And unfortunately, it didn't work out with their original plan and priority of re-signing him. But I kind of like what they did to an extent. Like I like Karis LeVert, as a six man coming off the bench for him. I think he's a crafty enough scorer that they kind of are able to lean on him a little bit more
Hmm.
with a lot of the other scorers or guys that are developing into scorers on the team. And then Duncan Robinson, I think, is kind of underrated. Again, he's not a guy that's going to change the world for them, but I like his shooting prowess. I think he does a good job of setting screens off ball. And I like that these guys are still veterans. I like that they didn't like chase after, a overpriced star or a young player that they're not sure about. Like I like that they're kind of sticking to the script of last season, adding on some veteran depth, bringing back Paul Reed. I thought these were, useful additions for them. And as long as they can stay healthy, which is kind of puzzling sometimes because you can't predict injuries, but as long as they stay healthy, I give them a chance to compete in the East. I still like this young core. I think they can fit together. And I think Trajan did the best that he could based on the circumstances after Beasley, with making the moves he did in the offseason.
No, I feel the same way though. I do kind of feel like I didn't want Paul Reed back, and there's nothing against Paul Reed. Like he's a good player, but I just wanted someone with more size. But I mean, at the same time, he's probably a good locker room dude and all these different things. So it's not that I hate it, but I would like another 7 foot on the team because I do think that's one of our biggest weaknesses right now is just that we don't have no size, even though we did get bigger, with
Mm-hmm.
Levert and Robinson. But I still
Right.
think we need some more size at that front court power forward center position. But
Yeah, he talked about that a lot too. He said he was excited about being able to add guys that were 6'6", 6'7". Like that definitely helps. But yeah, they definitely still got some holes. I mean, I also like them drafting Chaz Lanier. I think he fills in really nice for Beasley as another shooter for that team. But I think that would do a lot of benefit for their team and for the depth that they're kind of lacking right now.
you was freezing up a little bit. Can you say that again?
Are we good still? I think I saw it go away.
I know. Yeah, you was freezing.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I just yeah, no problem. Yeah, I like the moves that they've made to kind of suffice for it. I mean, I know Trey was excited about adding guys that were 6'7" and Duncan Robinson and Karis LeVert. I also like them drafting Chaz Lanier. I think he helps out a lot with the shooting that they are still in need of after losing not just Beasley but also Tim Hardaway Jr. who went to Denver. But yeah, I think based on what they need right now, I think they still could fill in or use a point guard to back up Cade Cunningham and for Jaden Ivey, and also maybe they obviously still need a stretch four, but they do have that trade exception, so maybe Trajan gets a little busy before the deadline and finds something to kind of suffice for that. But for right now, he kind of did the best he could with how his hands were tied, unfortunately.
No, I definitely feel the same way. I definitely want another point guard too. It's like I believe Ji can handle it down, but it's just like it's all about insurance for me, especially him coming off his injury and stuff. I'm pretty sure he'd be fine, but still, it's a lot of wear and tear on your body, regardless, even if he was 100% healthy. So I kind of do wish they bring in a guy kind of like Malcolm Brogdon, who a lot of people like, oh, he's washed or whatever. But I'm like, he's gonna play like 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Like anybody watch can play
Right.
just little 15 minutes. It's just really to give someone a breather. So if we get someone like that, good locker room dude, can bring in, culture and stuff, tell Cade how to handle the ball a little bit. I think that'll make us so much more better. It'll help on the development a little bit more. But you
I
spoke
agree.
about Malik Beasley and stuff. Do you think Duncan Robinson can take his place?
Mm, no, no, not by himself. No, what Beasley did last season was kind of crazy. I mean, to think about a six man hitting over 300 3 pointers in one season is kind of crazy. It made sense to see it from a guy like Anthony Edwards because he's a superstar. He can shoot the ball 50 times if he wanted to, and Minnesota's not going to stop him. Beasley, again, was the sixth man on this team. He wasn't their best player. He was obviously their best shooter. For him to hit at the clip that he did and with the volume that he did, it will be unfair to ask Duncan Robinson to come in and replicate that. I think they're going to have to do that as a team at this point. I think Ivy's going to have to stick to that, efficiency that we saw in those 30 games. Cade is going to have to get a little bit better in terms of his consistency as well. Like his three shooting kind of comes in waves. I think you're obviously going to have some expectation for Karis LeVert. Tobias Harris is going to have to still step in and be one of those shooters. And I think even the young guys too, guys like Ron Holland and Asar Thompson.
Mhm.
I feel like those are some guys that you're going to have to hope that they can take a step in a positive direction in terms of their shooting. Like they don't need to, take the leap that Ivy did or become a 40% shooter off rip, but you have to have some kind of threat that can keep the defense modest on the perimeter. So hopefully Fred can work a little bit more of his magic, but yeah, it's going to take a team effort to kind of replace what Beasley left off.
No, I definitely feel that too, though. I look at Duncan Robinson also. He can't replace what Beasley does, but he can't come close to it. And it's not necessarily like, okay, I'm jacking all these threes, but also he used to playing in the system, especially like a system with spokes, that hard heat culture system. So I feel like Beasley might have been like the
Mhm.
wild one, but now we're gonna see someone more in control. We're gonna see more of a team atmosphere. And I was thinking about also, like I heard Kendrick Perkins talk about when they was in the Thunder, they had that little young team. He said we was having fun, all this stuff, but later on we figure out, how to win, how to, not be so fun to be so serious. I think Beasley, he's someone who brought all the fun and stuff after that horrible year. But now we're gonna get to the, the serious aspect of all right, y'all might have fun right now, but this is how you have fun and how you win, how you actually can, get them shots off the right way instead of just jacking them up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. I like that point a lot, especially coming off of what they did last season, with the struggles that Monty Williams had. Like JB even talked about in the beginning of the season. He said, I want to make this year fun for them, even based off of, the struggles that they've had over the past several years that they've been through with the new coach basically every season for a lot of the young guys. Like it was a lot of stuff that they had to, maneuver through and go through. And it was only going to be so much you can get from your coach. So having a guy like Beasley who carried a lot of their personality, did a lot of the fun things with the young rooks. Made himself very well ingratiated with the franchise and the community. So yeah, that I think that's gonna the 3 point shooting and the scoring is a big deal. But I think his personality and what he meant to the culture in that locker room is gonna be even just as big, if not bigger, than the scoring and the shooting void that he's gonna leave over as well.
No, I feel the same way. Since we talk about Malik, I might as well bring him up too. Like that's the biggest thing I'm gonna miss about him is just the fact that he brought culture to the team and stuff. And like I see a lot of people online talking about him. Like I don't judge him for the stuff he did because I mean I've been around that age before too. You know what I mean? And I know people who do some of the same stuff who don't pay their bills. So I mean, he's just rich doing the things that normal people do. It's just magnified. But I do feel like Malik gonna be come back. I really do. I think he's gonna be back. If not this year, then he's gotta come back next year. I feel like the team want him back. He definitely want to be back. So, you know, he's gonna be back. It's just sad that he's gone through all this stuff and it's put on display in front of the world, really.
Yeah, it's serious business. And I mean, it's kind of just wild for the league anyway, because with how much sports are now prioritizing betting, like, granted, yes, I don't think athletes should be betting at all. I don't think they should have any kind of involvement with it in any way, shape, or form. But it is kind of weird knowing how much y'all push the profits and the profitability of sports betting in the world now. So, yeah, it's definitely a serious case for Beasley. It seems like he's handling it fine. He's posting through it on social media, still working out of the gym, spending his time in Miami, kind of enjoying the offseason the best he can. He hasn't really addressed it at all yet. The Pistons have. We heard comments from Trajan Langdon. I actually wrote about it on clutchpoints.com. And they're taking it pretty serious. Obviously, they're hoping that he can bounce back and find himself in the good graces for his own life, not even necessarily basketball. But definitely for the Pistons, it was a huge blow because he meant a lot to what they needed in terms of last year and what they were going to need for the next 3 years if that deal would have been signed.
No, I definitely feel the same way. Like I feel bad for him. Like you said, it's not even about basketball. It's more so like a life situation. Like it's
Mhm.
nothing you can make fun of or anything like that. Like ultimately, okay, he did a dumb mistake, but I mean, we all did dumb mistakes before. So,
Of
like I
course.
said, I don't want to judge him or anything like that. I feel like he do need to grow up a little bit. It's some immaturity issues in there, but I mean, that's also what we like about him. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
we like the goofiness about Malik. So it's like you take the good with the bad with him. So he is
Exactly.
kind of immature, got a goofball, but it's not like he's not a bad goofy. You know what I mean? Like
Right. Yeah,
you
we've
know,
seen those be detriments. We've seen Dennis Rodman and Draymond kicking people in the
yeah,
whats to cause their own problems. Yeah, Beasley didn't have that kind of issue with the team, which is good.
no, he just do dumb stuff. Which I
Right.
mean, I do dumb stuff too. So
We
I
all
can't
do.
say nothing. So I done did some crazy stuff in my lifetime too. Jumping, flipping around and stuff. So
Of course.
he's a fun loving dude. So can't really judge him on him.
Right. It worked with a young team too. Again, they needed that fun. It helped turn things around. It helped keep the spirits high. It brought the fans out. Like the Pistons, I think we're top 10 or 15 in attendance this year. Like he
Yeah,
was a big reason we hit the shimmy, and he meant a
yeah.
lot. It really does suck. So yeah, I'm a yeah, I would definitely keep a prayer up for Malik. I hope he's in good spirits and okay.
No, I definitely feel that too. I do want to talk a little bit of stuff about Trajan and stuff. Do you think it's some red flags in him as far as like the way he moved? Because before we got Duncan Robinson, before we got really Levert almost too, a lot of people was complaining like, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" And I kind of seen this same situation last year, even before we got Schroeder and guys like that. Do you think he kind of take his time a little too much, or do you think this more so that he's just real planning stuff. He's real meticulous with his planning.
I think he's just being meticulous. I think if you look at the timeline of the Pistons' young core, they all haven't really had a chance to gel together in a consistent environment. Like Cade, we all know what happened his second year with the injury to his shin, where he missed 70 plus games. We know Ivy just missed 70 games, due to his injury he had this season. Jalen Duren has missed, I think they said close to 50 games due to ankle injuries.
Yeah,
Asar
yeah,
Thompson has spent time out due to the blood clots. Like they just haven't had a chance to really gel together and be able to make a leaping move like Orlando did. Like Orlando knows what they have with Paulo and Franz. Like they played enough games together. They've had enough success together where them making that trade for Desmond Bain made sense. They're not in a position to do that yet. So I understand why they're thinking about just relaxing, letting the young players develop, and then maybe down the line, which he's talked about before. He said, like, hey, there will be a moment where we're going to have conversations about who can fit on this roster. But for right now, we're going to be patient with what we have, especially based on the success they had last season. Like, it wasn't like based on all the young players that we saw from Cade, Ivy, Asar, Duran, Stewart, like they all played and took a step gradually up forward towards the end of the season. Even Ron Holland showed a lot of progression as well. So knowing that and knowing the success they were able to build on and take to the postseason, I understand them being patient. I don't think it's really much of a red flag right now. I think this is kind of a make or break season where he's got to make some of those decisions he was talking about. But no, I think he has the ability to kind of be patient based on what's happened up to this point for the franchise.
No, I feel the same way. I was saying that because I've seen a lot of people talking about fire Trajan. Oh, da, da, da. I'm like, I don't necessarily think we need to fire him, but I do feel like, I mean, he's still learning the job in a way too. I mean, he has been
Right.
getting off through some crazy situations. So, I mean, say what you want about him. He's been doing the best he can with what you've been thrown at him. He's been doing stuff really under a lot of pressure. So you can't really get mad at stuff he's been doing because a lot of people fold under pressure and do some dumb moves and like
Exactly.
Stan Van Gundy, like
Exactly,
you
exactly.
know,
Like you don't want to have part two of that happen again. And like you said, he's had a lot to deal with in terms of the Malik Beasley thing that kind of happened last second. Even in the draft last year, he told us after he picked Ron Holland, he said that there were agents telling players don't work out for the Pistons,
yeah,
don't answer calls for the Pistons. So that kind of handicaps you and cripples you a little bit. And he was still managing to bring Ron Holland in sign Cade to an extension and add in the veterans that they did. So, I mean, you can look at last season too as well. People weren't excited about Tim Hardaway Jr.,
Not at all.
Tobias Harris. Nobody was waving pom poms for that. People thought kind of the same thing that we thought this season, and just didn't have as much disappointment attached to it with the Malik Beasley thing. But yeah, people weren't excited about those signings, and it worked out pretty good for him. So I think Trajan is, like you said, working as well as he can with what's in front of him at this point. And he's had some ups and downs to go through, and I think he's done a pretty good job up to this point.
No, same. As you were saying, I was also thinking about little stuff like last year. Like he had to move to Detroit. You know what I mean? People
Right.
don't think about that different situations. Getting your family together, like getting no sleep. Okay, like you want him to do good for our team, but it's also this man has a life outside his job. You know what I mean? Can't
Right.
just be if what y'all got, what y'all calling people all day. So
Exactly.
he
Yep.
has been doing a phenomenal job with what he's been throwing out there.
I think so too. Fans is impatient. It's been again. You would think after the first playoff appearance since 2019, the first win since 2008, beating a team like the Knicks, having that big stage, knowing you saw the young guys play well, you would think fans will be a little more together this offseason than we've seen. And I just seen a lot of divisive conversation, from the Ivy conversations to Trajan this and like Asar. Like, it's been so much dysfunction in the community. I don't really understand that at all. I thought everybody would be happy this summer, and it's been problematic all around for some reason.
No, I feel the same way. You talk about the Knicks too, man. I swear the Knicks are not doing nothing. I think we're a rival now, whatever, but the Knicks are
Mm-hmm.
not gonna do nothing. Like I just don't like Kyle Anthony Towns. I really don't. Like he's
Oh
just
man.
any team he's on, I just don't think he's not a winning player to me. Like everybody else on that team is nice, but the way that team's put together, I just don't think they do much. And they're all older, pretty much. They're all like 29, 30 years. So I'm like, they're gonna fall real soon. Like I can see them maybe be a top 4 team. They might do a little better because people injuries, but I grew to not like this Knicks anymore. I ain't gonna lie, just
Yeah,
because
they
they're
kind of.
fans, man.
Oh my God! Yeah, I learned a lot about their fans over the playoffs. They were ruthless, but yeah, I
Tripping.
don't. I think they don't have a lot of depth still. They still rely on those 4 starters to kind of carry their offense. I'm not really sold on Mike Brown as the missing piece in their head coaching staff to kind of lift them up to the finals, because they didn't make all those trades. They didn't bring Towns in and Bridges in to trade all those picks just to get to the ECF. Like, they're trying to get to the finals, which they haven't been to since 1970. So they got a lot of ground to make. They got a lot of things that they need to fix up with. I won't say the cat's not a winning player. I mean, I think he played like he heard a lot of the trash talk about him in the
Yeah.
playoffs. And he gave the Pistons, he was hitting some ridiculous shots all series, but he played some good ball. But the Pistons still made him work for everything, which I'm okay with.
No, I definitely say he got skills and everything, but the thing with Cat, what it is just his mentality. I don't like, and to me, his
Mm-hmm.
mentality is not a winning mentality. It's just too soft. I'm like, man, like you can't get bullied. This like you 7 foot tall. Like, come on. Like, I wish I was that big. I'll be mean. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean? I'll be dunking on people and everything else. I want to just be so soft like that. I just know I won't. And I ain't saying go out there and beat everybody else, but like flex a little bit. Show your muscle. You know what I mean? And I just feel like Cat would be a dominant player if he had a different mentality. That's all. But it is what it is. I think you froze up a little bit. You still there? Oh, that's messed up. That's a weird thing. I might take you back and put you back in there then. Wait, there you are. You good?
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, 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 I hear you.
Okay, God, I don't know what's going on. Xfinity is not rocking with me today. I don't know if it's me or like what's going on. But yeah, it keeps
Still
making me
blanking on me.
reset and
It's
everything.
all good. I am tripping.
Golly. No, I'm back now. I think we're all right.
All right, cool. But I do want to talk about Ji's impact. I mean, he wasn't there for that Knicks series. How do you think he's going to be?
I'm a little, I won't say I'm nervous, but I'm hoping he comes back in the form that we saw last season. I think a lot of people are sleeping on how impactful he was. I think he was their second best player, basically, for the stretch that he was active. I think him taking the leap that we saw in terms of his scoring and shooting answered a huge question to me, which was to me the biggest question last season. Can Cade and Jaden Ivey play winning basketball together? And the answer is yes. I think we saw Cade. find the ability to find Ivy on cuts when he was getting double teamed for easy layup shots. His athleticism that you can't really, guard or really plan for. Like his speed was unbelievable. And again, the shot really that's been developing and kind of changing in terms of his form since his college days. Like seeing that kind of come along and look as flawless as it did in his third year, I was really impressed with that. I think he's going to be still a perfect fit for what they need. They need another creator. They need somebody else that can, take pressure off of Cade Cunningham. And again, I think a guard like him is the perfect kind of guy that they need. He offers things that Cade doesn't bring. I think he draws contact at the rim better than any other Piston on the roster. And I feel like he's still a big deal and should be one of their big focal point plans moving forward into the future.
No, I feel the same way. And also think people not realizing like him being hurt, he got to observe a lot being on that bench. So I think he's gonna come
Right.
back with a vengeance. It's gonna be hard, a smarter player. So look out for Ji. But I know your
Indeed.
time is coming up real soon. So I'm gonna go real fast. Summer leagues tomorrow. What you think about summer league?
I'm excited, man. Summer League is developed into quite a spectacle for the NBA. I'm actually going to be out in Vegas for Summer League too, so I'm super excited to get out there. When I don't work tomorrow, I'll be shooting off over to Vegas in the morning on Saturday. But I'm excited. I'm really it's going to be a lot to see from the young guys. I'm excited to see Chaz Lanier with his first bit of action with the Pistons. I'm really excited to see Bobby Clintman, play some good stretch 4 minutes for him, and I want to see what Ron has to offer. I mean, he did a lot. He grew a lot in his games played last season, and I think they're going to lean on him a lot in terms of a lot of his shot making and creation. In leading this young group. I even like some of the Cruz guys that they have, like Tolu Smith. I think is going to be big. Dennis Jenkins, I think, can make a good impact for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have a lot of good pieces that can make a pretty good impression. Bryce Mitchell, like there's a lot of good guys that can play some good basketball for him in these upcoming 4 games. And I like the players and the teams that they're going to be playing against in this step too. So yeah, Summer League has been a fun point of emphasis. It's just Summer League, so we don't want to overreact, but
Yeah, I definitely
it's
feel that.
still gonna be fun to check it out, of course.
No, that's dope. That's dope. You going out there. I thought about it too, but I'm like, man, do I want to do that? Because I mean, I ain't talking about you, like, but you do it for a living. I don't. So it's like, if
Hmm.
I go out there, like, is it gonna be worth it? You know what I mean?
I feel you. Yeah.
So like, I definitely thought about there, just going out there, just to network with people on some real.
Right.
But
Yeah,
yeah, that junk's
bro.
dope.
Yeah, we talking about how hot it is in here today. I checked the phone a couple of days ago. It's 110 degrees over there, and
Heck
it
no,
ain't dropping, bro. So yeah, I'm a little terrified of that. I ain't gonna hold you.
nah. That's when you like just want to walk around naked almost, like on some
Yeah,
real like,
yeah. Y'all just gotta understand. I'm sorry. Like I'm not
like
used to this.
my bad, y'all. It's hot. Shoot. But yeah, before I get out of here, I do want to have a little fun. Got to name your top five David Live,
Ooh,
even hip hop or what's called basketball players.
you want me to do both?
Either or.
Oh man. Okay. Oof, man. All right. I'll go hip hop first. Let's go. Is this all time or right now? Like
Dead or alive, all time. Yeah.
dead or alive? All right. I'll go. I think Hove is still king right now. He's number one. I think at this point Kendrick is right behind him. I think he can take the throne as soon as next year. So I'm gonna put Kendrick at 2. I'll put Eminem 3, Nas 4, and then I'll go Pac 5.
I
I'll
feel
go
that. I
Pac
feel
5.
that.
Yeah, I'm gonna round it out with Pac. Yeah, I don't. I think that's the safest one I could have picked so far.
No,
Five.
I definitely feel that.
What's
I'm
yours?
go. You said mine?
Yeah, what's yours?
Oh Lord, I knew he was gonna ask me. I don't even know. Shoot.
You ain't got a 5, man.
I
Come
know.
on.
I know. Nas is my favorite rapper. I probably Nas,
Okay.
Most Def. I don't even know if I say about 3 because I always want to get a Legends there thing too, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have a top 9 because I listen to a lot of music besides hip hop, so it's always
Mm-hmm.
like, what am I feeling? You know what I mean? So
Okay.
I don't know.
I
It's
get what
hard
you
for
said.
me. It's
I can
like,
rock with
what
that.
type of hip hop you talking about? That's kind of is for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, that's why I had to ask the stipulations. I'm like, all right, is it all time? Is it right now? Like, right? I don't even think I can do it right now because it's I think hip hop is terrible right now,
No,
outside
it
of a
is
few
horrible now.
people. But yeah, all time you could make an argument for a lot of. You could throw Snoop in there. You could throw Biggie in there. I think Wayne is out now at this point. I think Wayne is terrible after the last album we just heard. But
I ain't
people still
there.
give him his prop. Yeah, but yeah, you can make a lot of arguments for a lot of people. Not Drake though. I'm not putting Drake in
No,
there.
I don't
It's not
mess with Drake
happening.
either though.
No, no, we can't do that. Nobody that goes to court can be in any top five. Sorry, it's
No,
not
I definitely
happening.
feel that. But since you said, Wayne, go fast on these last ones. No ceilings or dedication.
Ooh. Ooh. Man. No Ceiling was fire, but that was the first one was fire. I didn't care for the second one. I'll go dedication just because the first three are classics. First three dedications are still out this world. I just played all three of them yesterday, so I got to give it to dedication.
I feel that. All right, we gonna also go to Tayshawn's block or Ben's block when he blocked Shaq.
Ooh. Tayshawn got the best block in NBA history. I
I
gotta
feel
go
that.
Tayshawn. I remember being a kid watching that live, thinking it was gonna be a goaltend. Then they show that mug in slow mo. Dog, yeah, that
Screaming.
Tayshawn got the best block in NBA history. I'll die on that hill. I don't care.
I definitely feel that. I'm gonna do a couple more. Tech or lure.
Oh, you nasty. Oh man, John Lure has some moments. I'll give it to Lure. John Lure when the players got injured, he was a six man for a while. Then they got promoted to the starting lineup. I'll give it to John Lure for a minute. Why
I
not?
definitely feel that. You hear the stuff what Tech was talking about he want to get traded.
I did. Yeah,
I
he
kind of
demanded
don't
the
like that. I ain't gonna
request.
lie.
I kind of side eyed it a little bit. He's like, yeah, KD said he wanted. I'm like, did he?
Like, man, he
Did he
wasn't even
really?
doing nothing. Like, you gonna go out there and get mad because he
Yeah.
didn't play?
If I'm KD, that's not one of the first people I'm looking to talk to. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But shout out to Tech.
I definitely feel that. I'm gonna do two more. Better Made or Fago. Gotta keep it Detroit.
Okay, okay. I'll go Fago. I'll go
I feel
Fago.
that.
Rock and Ride is a classic.
I should have known that. That's my mama's joint.
That's what she like. That's
Yeah.
the best one right there. I don't know what it was, but that boy's addicted. I'll go with Fago.
No, I feel that. One more. Detroit rappers.
Ooh,
Old school.
ooh, yeah, you did. Mm, I like Toto, but I think I gotta go with Stretch Buddy.
I feel
Yeah,
that.
I'll go with Stretch. Yeah, Toto got some classics, but Stretch Buddy is where it's at. Of
I feel that. I gotta do some stuff with the D. You know what I mean? So,
course, of course, I ain't mad at that. Good call.
but yeah, that's our time. Appreciate you being on here. Plug all your stuff in there.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate the time, man. For real, it's always fun. You guys can check me out with my YouTube page. I got a page, Top Title Detroit. Subscribe to it. Check me out. I think we just tagged over 400 subscribers, so I'm making my steps too. Top Title Detroit is my page. You can check out all my beat reporting work with the Pistons at clutchpoints.com. And you can follow me on social media at I am Eric Vincent. I think that's for all my socials. You can tap in with me on there.
All right, that's what's up. Well, that's our podcast. Thanks everybody for showing up. Thank you for coming there too. So,
Of course.
yeah, peace. I'm your host, Davon Ambitious. You can find me on all platforms, Davon Ambitious. Follow us on Brandon Brooks Podcast on pretty much all platforms. So, hey, y'all, it's been a good show. Peace.